Jordan, open.
I got 2 twin Glocks strapped to my hip. One for the ops, one for the dip. Got the drip on me, and she take a sip. Doing shit you never see, like a dream of crib. Got a shorty in the club, going dumb. Pour another drink from the night till the one. Party all night, getting lit to the sun. Doing shit for fun, throw another one. Hey, I got 2 twin Glocks strapped.
What's up, everybody? It's DreamsNotFamePodcast with your boy The Hype for episode 2 of season 3. Brought to you by Copa Elite 3. That is coming out or having an event February 10th. Please get your tickets online. It's a dope event. I'm here with me today with one of my good friends came to me from season 2, came all the way back for another year with me. I appreciate you for that, bro. My good friend Matt Wahlstrom from Epic Road BJJ, bro.
What's up, bro?
What's happening, brother? Man, it's been so long. I haven't seen you at training. We both been missing out. I had a kid. You've been having issues with other stuff like that, man. I'm happy to see you. It's been so long, man. But first question I ask everybody on the show, man, how's your mental health today?
Oh, it's good, man. It's probably some of the best that it's ever been, bro. Some of the best it's ever been.
It's been one hell of a year for you, man, because I've been watching since that moment we talked about what you wanted as what you want for Epic Roll, and it's been maybe a year and a half since, and see where it is now, man. Could you ever imagine where you got to the place that it's at right now?
No, it's pretty wild. I mean, I think I always had big hopes for it, but I was letting it grow organically and letting it do its thing. It wasn't a thing I depended on financially, so I could approach it with just like joy and you know, as a passion project. And then when it started to get traction, I started to recognize that there was like a real opportunity here to you know, to make an impact. And after getting connected with Zoe and Heather, we just went on a mission to make this the largest jiu-jitsu brand on the planet, and now we have all the ingredients to be able to make that, you know, possible.
Yeah, I've seen from the marketing, I've seen from people that you got sponsor, like how, like there's so many things we got to break down, but I do have to bring this one thing up. Whose idea was it, and you better say the right answer to this, for the bury me in my Gi Rash guard?
Who came up with that?
Yeah, who came up with that? It was you, but who made you say, hey, put it on the rash guard? You. It was me.
It was you.
Thank you. I will continue with the story now. I had to get that out there.
I should put some kind of credit to that on the
semi-credit that I'm still waiting for my rash guard too, but nah, man, seeing Epic Roll go, man, like, what was the first thing when you reassessed everything? Like, what was the first thing you said you needed to change first from the company, from that standpoint? Was it just design? Was it marketing?
No, I think it was about being able to grow and expand at a rate that was available to us, but while not sacrificing the customer service and quality and anything like that, because I've had a very intimate relationship with all of the customers, because it was me doing this by myself for so long. So when every you know, any issue, any questions, it's all getting directed towards me. And I think that was, you know, cool for some people to be able to connect to the person behind the brand and feel a little bit more connected to the brand. And so I didn't want to lose that connection with the community and with their customers by expanding, and I wanted to do it in an organized way so that we didn't screw up anything, right? We didn't, like, you hear a lot of those kind of stories where people, you know, have companies and they try to expand and they don't have systems and processes and things in place to do that properly, and things just, you know, fall apart and it becomes disorganized. And so once it became, you know, a very sharp focus for us to make this the biggest jiu-jitsu brand, then it was just about, you know, me leaning on my partners for guidance and support in those arenas, because I'm fortunate enough to have some, you know, super successful people a part of my companies, and those are resources for me to be able to call and ask, hey, what have you done in this situation? What should we do in this? What's the best way to approach this? And, you know, it takes a team. Like, it's I could only do this for so long by myself. There's a cap to that, right? So it was about organizing and making sure, as I felt a responsibility now to have this grow, to do it in the right way.
And I think I saw that growth You had this massive photo shoot of who's, I don't even remember the name. I just know people's faces.
Yeah.
I know you have 5-finger death match. Death punch. That. Thank you. I'm not a rock star person, guys. So don't kill me.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
don't kill me on that one. So sorry about that. So
we had Michael Kroger from Nickelback.
Yep.
We had Harley Flanagan from the Cro-Mags.
Yep.
We had Zoltan Bathory from 5-Finger Death Punch.
Yeah.
We had Bobby Maximus, who is one of 100 America's most fit men. He was on Ultimate Fighter, fought in the UFC. We had Jeff Glover, who's just legend of legend in the jiu-jitsu space.
Yep.
We had Brandon McCatherine, BMAC.
That's a lot
out there. And we had Mike Beltran from the UFC as the ref. We were supposed to have Sean Patrick Flannery as well as Eddie Bravo, but there was some scheduling conflicts. And Tom DeBlas was also supposed to be there. So, yeah, man, we had a banger of a group out there, and that was incredible. That was a lot of fun. It was super cool to.
I know you had to be stressed. Like but then when the day came and everything was just going on, you're like, I can't believe this is all like happening.
I was sitting at the dinner table because we all went out for this dinner later on that evening, and I'm sitting there looking around the table at everybody, and it was amazing because I just, again, when you get focused on things, what you can manifest into your life is pretty incredible, and there's no other explanation for it to me. I'm like sitting in that position with these people, and it's like, man, this is, and the nice part is that these relationships are all very organic in a sense that we never went out and paid people to wear Epic Roll. So there's a difference between paying people to do stuff and then people wearing it just because they genuinely like it. So that was the overall sort of tone and vibe of the group, is like, we're all in these individual and unique places, and everybody just wants to help everybody. And I was very fortunate to have like the love and support of the brand and people pushing things, and now those are opening up incredible opportunities. Mike Beltran called me last week, and now we're doing all of the gear for his school out in LA, and we're just doing stuff with Eddie Bravo, and just picking up all these projects, and it's because people support and really like what it stands for and kind of the community that we grew.
I think, and that's an awesome answer, man, but I think you were the very first one to tell me, like, with your marketing, is that you notice as being the person that did everything. You notice when people would tag you and you show that love back, and a lot of people didn't understand. They do it now, but a lot of people don't understand that one-on-one connection. I remember the guy, you showed me that danced with his Bearded Boomer. Shout out to him. They did all the dances. Just like, dude, I just give random this stuff and you just show it, and a lot of people show love because like that company that shows that love back and knows that, man, I'm wearing this, and it's just that feeling of being like, so they know that you're wearing it.
Totally. And people are. I didn't go to anybody with this like expectation of getting things back. It was like, if I believed that I had a good product with good designs, all I had to do is put it in front of people and then let them decide. And then if we're growing and if it's going up, then there's your social proof. Yeah.
What is your favorite design from Epic Roll?
Man, my personal favorite design, I'm a little torn between the Urban Legend and the tarot card.
I remember the tarot card one.
And I think maybe just because they're graphically like interesting, like the Urban Legend one came at a time when I put that all together, where it was like, COVID was going on, and there's all these, funky things in there, and Illuminati references, and Tupac, and it kind of just, it embodied like the craziness of that time, and then all these other things that everybody thinks about, and nobody really knows what the deal is. And so
is that the one that has the spaceship one?
Yeah,
there we go.
It has like Loch Ness Monster, DB Cooper references, like all kinds of stuff. And so it was just meant to be one of those things that I think everybody could at least just laugh at and appreciate and think it's kind of witty.
I think jiu-jitsu humor is one of the best humors, especially when you have jiu-jitsu shirts. And gi wear that actually have that humor as well. It definitely shows like just like the creative side of that, and also just like it's not necessarily a meme shirt, but everyone gets it because just like our community is so weird with terms of when we talk about that type of stuff. So I think it's that kind of a shout out to that and into that reference. I remember you were explaining different things, and doing the shirts and into the gis and stuff like that, I remember actually I have a question about that when I'm talking about the gis. When IBJJF made that switch, you had to do everything as a business standpoint. I'm assuming you had to make that switch as well.
Correct.
And was that any painful for you to do that switch? And it's costly because it's like your whole inventory?
Correct.
Damn.
Yeah. There are, granted, for most people, there's, to be able to test that on the go, they're not going to do. But we had to be compliant in that, I didn't want to put people in a bad position.
Of course,
they're going and doing that. But there's also been some really funky rules. There's certain people that were told they couldn't compete in certain gear, and then other folks were allowed to. So I think there's a little bit of, ref discretion that probably ekes its way in there above and beyond what it's, supposed to be. So yeah, you try to comply. You try to, stay up with the trends and the requirements. And our goal now has shifted, and I think it's been in this trajectory for a while, of not being a t-shirt company, not the success being predicated on the next witty design that I can come up with like that. It's predicated on being a brand where you could just put this logo in small on a thing, just like a Nike swoosh, and get the association. But in the beginning, when you're building brand recognition, to just put something out there where there's no context and there's no anything behind it, that might have been a lot harder for me to build on. So I had to really start out with stuff that would get people's attention. But what I always wanted to avoid when doing that was not putting out corny shit. You know what I mean? Like there's enough of that out there that exists on Etsy pages and Amazon pages that I wanted to make stuff that if it was witty and if it was funny, if it did have humor, for whatever it is, that the execution of the design was done in a elevated manner that didn't look like clip art. It didn't look like, it was like some prefab design, like there was time and thought that went into it, you know? Like the sushi roll shirt as an example, a lot of people don't even pick up that we're looking at the different belts, that each sushi is colored like a color of the 5 belts, of jiu-jitsu. So there were little distinguishing things in there that I was trying to stay within as far as, formulas for design that allowed us to grow a lifestyle brand and something that could be taken serious and wasn't just, like a, all like gag gift.
No, man, I definitely get that, because I think I had a conversation about you. I was like, you were talking about the tie-dye one, right? And I was like, dude, I don't think that tie-dye one. I'll be honest. I was like, I told you, it's like, it's not gonna work. It's like, I don't see it. It's like, nah, man, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. And I shit you not, I think 3 months later, I'm like, dude, I'm seeing that thing everywhere. I'm going around.
I've sold a ton.
And I'm just like, it was like, I never caught that. And it was not something witty. It wasn't saying it was bad. It's just like, tie-dye no-gi. I'm like, I don't really think so. And then after that, it's not saying people copycat, but I'm just saying like, oh, there's more of that coming out more and more now. And I think that's dope. And I also think it's dope that it's like, you keep it still simple as well. You transform just not from t-shirts. You done it into, what's called? Rash guards, shorts. And shorts, jackets, keychains, hats. I think so too. And sports bags. So which out of those was like the hardest to transfer? Is the sports bag the hardest one?
No, I mean, the nice part is that, half of our business is set up as a drop ship company, and then the other half is set up where we hold inventory. And it gives us a little bit of an advantage because, I do have to hold inventory on gis and rash guards and shorts. So there is some level of financial investment that when we launch them, but there's a lot of beta testing and a lot of feedback from social media that I can get before ever doing it. And now with the people we work with, when we do, like we're getting ready to do a launch of a Jeff Glover gi and rash guard. That's going to be like a collaboration with him. So we will be able to do a pre-sale off of our website and push that and sell everything before orders are even put in, so that we're not putting the money up and have a bunch of inventory that we're not selling. So when it comes to gear bags, t-shirts, mugs, hats, things like that, I can go in and I can put designs up without holding any inventory and let it and see what happens, right? So I can see what sells a lot, I can see what doesn't. And I didn't want to be corny in a sense that we throw the brand on every possible item you could possibly brand and tag, right? Like that wasn't the goal. It was the things that sort of made sense, the things grapplers would use, and then the things that would show up in somebody's like day-to-day like lifestyle, like clothing, you know?
No, I think I know what brand you're talking about, and I'm trying to remember. It was the...
For which one?
It's just a logo brand, and they put it like everywhere. It was, they did collaborations with Champion, I forget, it was like a red, it's like always red and it has a label.
Supreme?
There we go. God damn, dad brain. But now like Supreme, for me, I think it died when everything was labeled Supreme.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know Supreme certain stuff is cool, but it was just like, you had Supreme Brick, Supreme that. I'm like, bro, like it's not, it was just like stupid stuff now, and they're making it fun and just putting it on stupid stuff. So you made a cognitive decision, sorry, my lips, but I'm not even gonna say that word again, that decision to make that they was like, all right, I know what's gonna sell, what's not gonna sell. You already have like a pool of people that you probably get into, people that you probably sponsoring in terms of like giving the gear and stuff like that, and you can kind of test and see what they like, right?
Exactly.
I think the coolest design now that you have is the one that Cam was rocking, that clean white no one.
Yeah, that's the all white with the black logo, the all black with the white logo. I found myself more than anything wearing like this shirt, but with the white all white logo. I like black
simple,
and white.
simple, clean. Yeah,
I like it, and so I was like, man, we should have rash guards for that. And surprisingly, that was like a big popular thing, because again, now there is brand recognition. So now you could simplify it to just the logo, and the association and what that is synonymous with in jiu-jitsu is cool, right? So it's people want that kind of simplistic stuff. It's like, and when you look at big brands, that's sort of, not all of them, but there are a lot of them that follow that formula. So, for us, making products that make sense and we can test. We might not always have it right, but if something doesn't sell, I can take it off. I can take it off and stop selling it. I can make sure that we have tested these products and that we get behind them before we offer them out, because we want the perception to stay at a certain level for us and for our brand, and quality and sort of comfort. So that's just, now we have these resources where we can do this stuff somewhat inexpensively.
Nice, man. 'Cause I know that cutting costs is everything in business, but speaking of business and moving into more super fights, you guys, especially because I was talking about sponsoring people, you guys just went down to PGF Home or Home. Sorry, guys, if I'm mispronouncing your name, but it's PGF Home. And tell me that environment, because you were like, you had to put up a team, you had to sponsor a team. Like, how was that?
So that was cool. So Brandon this was the 5th season that he had done, right? So they had a pretty good format for everything. And again, this was like a passion project of BMAC, and having, but was fun and exciting. And what he told me was that he's like, this will be the most fun jiu-jitsu tournament experience that you'll have. And he's like, it's the most fun one that I have outside of ADCC. And him commentating there, it said a lot. So I was like, cool. So we assembled the troops, called Jeff Glover, brought him in as a coach, and we went in with the intention of like making a statement and wanting to flex a little bit in terms of elevating what jiu-jitsu tournaments can be, and then what jiu-jitsu athletes can get in terms of compensation. So a lot of times, like with IBJJF, people are traveling, there's heavy travel costs involved in going and doing this, and they do it for a medal and a little bit of recognition, which is fine, but we're trying to, we're saying that now jiu-jitsu is exploding, and now jiu-jitsu is popular, and there's all these grapplers that are out there, training their ass off to try to make a name for themselves and do this. So we want to create some opportunities that reward those people. And PGF became very clear after that there was something special about it, because it was very different than any other jiu-jitsu tournament that we had been to. You know, multiple days, you had this sort of almost like reality show vibe, because each team was in their own like Airbnb house.
Nice.
You had the coaches, we did the draft, we did the combine. Where
back though, what is the draft? 'Cause I saw the draft and the combine. I'm like, what are these two things?
So a combine they have is basically preset activities meant to test the abilities of the grapplers. And the coaches and sponsors of these teams would be in this room, almost like a football, you know, team would be watching these athletes you know, run certain drills and you know, give them a rating, so that when we do the draft, which is basically every team getting a certain amount, I believe it was, you know, $2,500, and we had to have our 5, you know, athletes, 5 or 6, I can't remember, and you basically, you're bidding on these people, so you have your budget, and then, you know, and if you wanted to spend above and beyond that, you could, but just similar to some other big sports organizations, there usually are some penalties with that, right? They kept calling us the Yankees because we were going in and just like, whatever you're paying, I'm just gonna pay more. And we went in there without any kind of a budget of, we're gonna go and we're gonna assemble the Avengers, right? And we're gonna get the #1 guy, we're gonna get the best people, we're gonna bring Jeff Glover in, we're gonna come in and give everybody like all this epic roll swag so that they're, you know, to the nines every time they're competing, and to make a statement and set like a precedence and be like, you know what, this is how you can come in and this is how you can operate. And I think the goal being that, you know, we've since developed some partnerships with this, and now our next event is actually going to be out in Vegas, so no more in Alabama. So you know, there are some announcements of what we're doing, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say it.
That's fine. That's fine. All you said was Vegas, and I'm in there.
But I will say that we will be doing something in terms of the financial compensation that has never been done in jiu-jitsu yet, and this supersedes ADCC and every other jiu-jitsu tournament. So that will be, I think, you're going to see a complete change in who that's going to pull into that tournament in terms of the athlete, you know, caliber, and it's very cool because this is all, again, a group of friends and like-minded individuals who are doing this because they really enjoy it. And so yeah, so now, you know, this next season 6, details are still being fleshed out. I think the vision ultimately is to sort of be the ultimate fighter of jiu-jitsu. So emulating that show in a sense that, you know, we grow to having it be a full-blown show, just involving, you know, jiu-jitsu versus MMA. And I think that it's very interesting, and I think this is probably the best time that something like that could ever come out and get the type of traction that it would to make it something.
I definitely like it. I definitely like the idea. I think y'all did great. I did see summer camp matches. I did like the event. It was definitely interesting. I definitely think that's going to be sick in Vegas. I have an idea for y'all. If y'all gonna still keep the Yankee moniker, I think you should do some Yankee epic roll gear.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Just to throw some stripes on it.
Throw some pimp stripes and just make it a Yankee fit gear for epic roll.
That's actually
maybe you can get past through some things, because I know the Yankee probably have some like copyright stuff. But if you can do that, I think that'll probably play on the moniker a lot more.
I like that.
So I think having each team have like a little nickname and that outfits match the nickname, I think that'd probably be dope.
For sure.
Nah, man, but I think with the way you guys have success at PGF, we're going to transfer into more what you're about to get into now with Copa Elite. Again, a sponsor on this show. Please, guys, check them out. Check the link is going to be in on my page, on the videos, so you have no reason not to get tickets. But my biggest question, the elite question for you is, why are you fighting?
Yeah, well, I never really had the idea that I would stop competing. I think it just came down to a matter of my schedule and being focused on certain things. Like, you listen to some really successful individuals, like I think Richard Branson as an example, won't typically take on any more than 3 projects at once. Some people are like, they're only 1 project at once, and I'm really like in the middle of not only the 1 bottle launch, but also growing Epic Roll, running a real estate business, raising kids, you know, being a husband. And so I found my limits with what I can and can't do, and that always changes. It'll go up and it'll go down, and you know, I competed at an IBJJF tournament as a black belt, and that was fun. And so this for me is just, I think with jiu-jitsu you get very comfortable being in your school training with your people, right? And you can be great at that, but without a competition, without, you know, testing yourself with people that you've never rolled with and putting yourself in situations where all eyes are on you and there's added stress, to me there's something like not only primal but just exciting about it, because it pulls you out of your day-to-day reality, and it's like a little break check. It's like, you know, how is your jiu-jitsu? And it's not to say that by losing, you know, you're a loser. It's just, you know, my motivation for doing it is because I'm a hobbyist, because I love jiu-jitsu, because Copa is a fantastic event.
Oh,
you know,
my God,
it's such a
fantastic.
cool vibe. They got a great setup. It's, you know, there's a lot of great things, and there's always, all of us in the jiu-jitsu community around here kind of know each other, and so it's a cool time to see everybody and connect and hang out and watch some good jiu-jitsu.
Oh, man.
You know, so for me it was like, I appreciate the opportunity to go out and have some fun.
Yeah, I think Copa and the aspect of Copa itself, I think is great. I think because like not only when I get done my matches previously when I was on there, but I filter out in the crowd, and you're just like, you're jumping from table to table to table because you know someone from each room or each section, and you're just having fun. You're mingling, you're having fun. We were saying earlier, everything mixes well when you have beer and a good show.
Right.
So I think with that stage and with that environment, it's a great environment. I definitely get where you feel like with jiu-jitsu, like, yes, you can go train, you can go out and have, what's it called? What would be the best way? Train with your teammates, right?
Yeah.
But the best thing about jiu-jitsu is testing yourself, and I think everyone eventually will have that itch. Or if you just travel and do different gyms, that's also it too, because sometimes you walk into a fresh school, they don't know you, they're going to send their best at you because of the fact they don't know you, and you get to have a little bit of fun there, and then you get ease ways into that. So I always understand that primal instinct of like, I gotta turn it on now.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta start be like repetition, and regardless of how everyone is, no one's fully healthy when this stuff happens, like at all.
Yeah.
So with that being said, with everything with Copa, because you were just telling me about, because the love for it, do you ever think, because you're doing so many things at once, man, you ever think about all the injuries you rack up and just like, I can't do this anymore? Like,
yeah, I was talking to Aaron Riley, the UFC fighter Aaron Riley from back in the day. He's coming and training with us a little bit, and we were kind of reminiscing, because he started, I think we both started around jiu-jitsu like around 2005, 2006, something like that. And it's, when you have that competitive side of you, and that's been a part of your journey, it's hard to turn that off. And so while I'm still vertical and while I'm still able to train, you know, it might warrant that I do more things like this, where it's an occasional super fight where you're talking 6-minute match, one thing. I'm not out doing 8 matches, you know, IBJJF, you know, high
going
stress,
through the gauntlet,
dropping weight, you know, all these kind of things. So yeah, I've had to sort of recognize and stay in my lane a little bit with those things. But at the end of the day, like, jiu-jitsu is just fun, and it's just fun. So for me to go out and do jiu-jitsu on a stage under lights with you know, my friends, and you know, half the time, anytime I'm at Copa or I'm at these tournaments and I'm not competing, I'm always wishing I was up there anyway. So this is like, you know, I can get up there, I can have a little fun, and then I can spend the rest of the night supporting the homies and just enjoying myself.
It's a fun time, man. I think that when you have and Copa in general, like, I think it's one of those things where the excitement is there, everyone's there, like you said, the environment's great. And I'm trying to key back on something that I was trying to think of before, but it's just like, with those injuries, oh no, here we go, with that competition or that competitiveness that you have, you do the same thing I'm doing, or I'm noticing it now, where if I can't make it there, my competition is other things. Your competition is real estate or epic roll, or you're pouring your energy into other things that make you competitive. You're ultimately the competitor in everything that you do.
Yeah.
Same thing when I'm here, I'm trying to get back into comedy or jiu-jitsu. It's like that competitiveness, like on when I'm doing this or I'm on a roll, I'm trying to be great.
Right.
I'm trying to be the best one here, or the best teacher, the best learner, whatever, because of the fact that how much you love it and how much you appreciate the moment.
Exactly.
I think, for me personally, the funnest part of Copa is the music.
Yeah.
I love when my music, I've said this in a post, I said I love when I can hear my own music. I love that I'm walking out to my music. It's like every kid that is like 9 years old and watch wrestling or watch whatever you want to watch, UFC, whatever, you have a theme music to you walk out.
Yep.
And I think that music is just like everything that gears you up or sets you up for that stage.
Totally.
Have you made yours yet? Or thought
It's always been the same one.
It's always the same one?
Always been the same one since my very first MMA fight.
Okay.
And it's by Oasis. It's called "Fucking in the Bushes," and it's a song that's featured in the movie Snatch when Brad Pitt comes out for that like last fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, man.
Yeah. It's all like a heavy drum beat, like it's like battle tunes.
Nice. I like it, man. I like it. I like having that kind of atmosphere with Copa. And with that being said, man, it's just like, are you going to debut anything new from Epic Roll into Copa?
I think because we still have to, I think Dimitri wants to keep things, within our rule set with IBJJF, and so I think that branches off to like colors. We have some new gis and some things like that that probably wouldn't be IBJJF color scheme, so I'll probably just stick with like classic like white white gi, but either way I'm excited. I think it'll be a good time.
Nice, man. I think,
forward to it.
Dude, I think Copa for you is going to be interesting. I think everything in Copa is going to be interesting, but let's switch gears completely out of jiu-jitsu real quick. And I also love talking about this because I don't have real estate or anything in real estate, but I love talking real estate with you because you give me the 411, everything that's going on around here, man.
Yeah.
How's that been for you? Because I know you've been shuffling around everything, even with this business, even with jiu-jitsu. So how's that going for you?
Yeah, it's good. We've been at it for almost 10 years. So I remember when I started, they said, a lot of people would say that once you're in the business for 5 to 7 years, you should, if you've nurtured your network and built relationships, you should have a pretty good referral network of people kind of coming to you.
Just retaining.
Yeah.
And that's what you've been working on. I remember the last time we talked about this, that was mainly you getting referrals.
Yeah, it's always been that. I've never been paying for like Zillow leads or any of that kind of stuff. And it can be a little unnerving sometimes where you're always looking what's in the pipeline, how many houses do we have in escrow, what's the deal. But the past 2 years have been 2 of our most profitable years, even through COVID and through, the craziness of the market going up and down. It's challenging, but we, again, I really love that industry. So to be able to work within something that, even though it's challenging, is still a passion of mine, is still a gift, and so it's helped us to kind of keep going and take care of our people so that they're out, helping us with opportunities. And part of my ultimate wealth strategy is investing in a ton of rental properties and real estate, because it's a very tangible asset. It's very lucrative, and when you know what you're doing and you have the financial means to structure the right deals, you can make a lot of money. So
yeah, I think real estate is one of those things, especially around the DMV area, especially in the rental property game. I got into that or understanding that late. So for your portfolio, what are you more looking into? Are you more looking into like having more rental properties out in the suburbs mostly, because that's where you can kind of get a good quantity of them, or more in these outside country areas where you can get some in certain distances? So
I'm not concerned as much with the areas, because when you look at trends, there was a time in 2018 when West Lafayette, Indiana was the highest rated rental area in the entire country. You had like a huge foreclosure rate in the area, but you had Purdue University and you had all these students, so you could go in and you could buy houses for very cheap, put lipstick makeovers on them, and then rent them out for $2,500 a month and have a really positive cash flow with that. And then there was areas in, you know, Palm Bay, Florida, and different places around the country. So around here, Northern Virginia, DC, Maryland, you know, properties are generally pretty expensive, and they kind of stay in that range. So it's hard to find cash flowing properties. For everybody, the cash flow that rentals do offer, you know, the value of that is going to be subjective, right? Whether if you wanted to make $100 per house or 500 or whatever your minimums are. For me, I think that, you know, you have to work in property management into your numbers, because if you want to be a landlord and you want to have a portfolio of rental properties, most people don't want to self-manage it so that they're not getting calls at 3 in the morning to plumb the toilet.
Yep.
Right? They want to like have people handle it. And typically in our area, you're going to pay 9 to 13% of the rent rate to have that property manager. Well worth the money, right? So if you work in a 10%, you know, cost of, on average, of a property management, and then you run your numbers and it's still got a positive cash flow, it makes sense, that's great. And I really like, you know, quadplexes. I really like units that have multiple, you know, places where you can go in and you can take over current rents or leases, improve them. You know, they're paying down your mortgage, you're getting the tax incentive, and so that's a really great way to kind of stack equity and then be able to leverage that equity to continue to buy bigger and bigger apartments, you know, apartment complexes, things like that.
Is the ultimate goal try to get an apartment complex?
Yeah, definitely. It's a there. If you want to have, you know,
I know we're talking big money, and I know, but I know there's smart investments, because from what people I talk to is like apartment complexes, or again trying to get a new one, and having that land or having something built on that land is worth it. Yeah,
you could get, you know, if you had about 100, you know, rentals, you know, and you're generating over 10 grand a month in passive income, and it's just, you know, I think there is something to be said about having some information about where you're investing. So it's worth it to, if there's a lot of opportunities. If I looked at Cleveland, Ohio or something, and I saw that there's areas where there's a ton of these, you know, opportunities, or in abundance, maybe more than around here, it's worth it to take a flight and to go around and see what you're dealing with, so you can see what type of tenants you're going to have. You can see, you know, what the resellability, if it's in a gentrifying neighborhood where things are on the up, or if it's, you know, I've been to places where you can buy a townhouse in Baltimore for 18 grand, but you better get a bulletproof vest as well. You know, like, so there's something to be said about knowing where you're investing, but the numbers and all that information exists and is out there and readily accessible to people. So it's just kind of about being smart, really. Just taking your time and, you know, having your thresholds, sticking to your numbers, because with real estate, numbers don't lie. And if you remove the emotion from what, you know, these transactions, you could stay level-headed and you can avoid pitfalls of like financial stress.
Yeah, because I think that goes hand in hand with jiu-jitsu as well. It's because like you have to be level-headed in jiu-jitsu, so you have to attack everything on a sound mind, or more or less, to understand how to undo that move on somebody. Same thing with these negotiations. Like I tell people all the time, like, you gotta understand to take emotion out of that aspect of whatever negotiations, because at the end of the day, everyone's trying to get to the same goal, which is make a buck or get to a certain point in that business or whatever. So when you have that kind of understanding, you can get a lot of stuff done with just being blunt and honest, and just like, hey, this is where it is and this is what I can do. Can we meet somewhere in the middle? Can we work? And if it can't work, don't be everyone. I know real estate is one of those things where a lot of people get mad quick and they're like, man, piss off, whatever. But it's like one of those things where it's not about, that's the emotion side of it. The smart way about it is, now, all right, cool. You can understand when it's a loss and it's like, it's not your fault. This is just what the number is. And a lot of people put that in a person's hands when it's not really the case.
And a lot of people have asked too, with AI and all the different things of, you know, technology trending, like if it worries me about the real estate industry. And what I've said is that, you know, I like investing in this as it's my business and the success is predicated on me. So if I choose not to fail, then I won't. And when I look at the whole process of, you know, us helping somebody sell a house or buy a house, or invest in a property, there's a management of emotions that are happening from our perspective with all sides of the transaction, and an ability to communicate information in certain ways that help people really understand it, to try to remove emotion from it. So there's a lot of psychological stuff happening, and it's a process that is so complex and has so many different legs, that to turn that into an automated system would mean to fundamentally change the way people buy and sell real estate. It would have to become, it's not like checking yourself out at a grocery store and bagging your own groceries. It's like there are forms and legal forms and historical data and all these different things that are factored into scenarios that help people make the best financial decision. And to get to a point where you're just trusting that whatever this computer is saying, you should buy this because I think it's a good idea, that's going to take a long time to fundamentally change how we buy and sell real estate. And so it doesn't make me really worried at all,
So I was actually, in the middle of that, I was like, when you said AI, I was like, I want to circle back around that. But you're saying AI really is not up to par yet with the real estate or those numbers in that sense.
Yeah, like you can for sure automate a ton of things, and I'm sure that every business is going to look for every opportunity to do that, because why? It's about the bottom line, right?
Yeah.
In our industry specifically, you might see some changes. There's always fluxes and changes in legalities and forms that are used and things like that. But from the process, the explanation of certain things, the consideration, the decisions, the back and forth conversations, all of that is so deep rooted in this and plays such an integral role to it, that to make it some benign process where you're just walking up if you're ordering like a chicken biscuit from Sheetz, it's just not like that.
No.
Now, will that maybe be the future? Sure. I mean, probably, but until then, it's still going to require humans to interact. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it, especially when you're talking about just doing walk-ins and understanding that property, understanding that you guys got to make those type of decisions of when you have to like negotiate on like down payments, or you have to get a new boiler and all that other stuff. Like so many things that I've talked about or had these discussions when I'm trying to look for a place. You don't really think about that until like, they ain't gonna do or lower this if you don't do this, and it's just a tug of war, and a lot of people don't have that patience, which I get.
Yeah,
I completely get that. Do you think AI is affecting anything in your other business with Epic Roll?
No, with that, it's just made it easier. That it's made it easier to, I use I've used chatbot before to come up with some themes of some marketing ideas, maybe some video reel ideas. And a lot of time, it's not that it writes out exactly what I want, it's that it saves me from having to come up with the idea. I can take their suggestions and expand on it. I can customize it to make it make sense, or make it work for my personality or how I want to shoot content and things like that. So they're just resources that help us with exposure, that help us with, writing and checking grammar and things like that. So it's very useful. I think there's probably going to be a lot more starving artists out there now, and things like that. So it does make you think about where the industry is going and what those changes are going to look like. I think most of them are positive, but there are definitely industries that I think will be, sort of erasing the human footprint in order to try to, under the disguise of trying to offer better and quicker and more effective service, but while also adding to their bottom line.
No, I think AI and like I said, I'm in tech, and it's one of those kind of conversations that everybody asks me about, and it's one of those things where, like you said, there's pros to having AI, working with your Epic Roll, working with understanding your customer and stuff like that, but there's also downsides to that. Understand the downsides of you can't automate a house sale, you can't automate certain those decisions and that forth, because you have to have a human interaction with that. Now, do I think like automating stuff like ChatGPT or stuff of that nature to help you write stuff? Yeah, that's no problem. Most of the stuff in movies now is getting automated, or pacing script, or doing sequel after sequel after sequel with no originality whatsoever. So it's like, of course there's going to be stuff like that, and it's just understanding that when you have that kind of technology, you also have to have limitations in that. I tell people all the time, tech hasn't been regulated in so many years as it's different. It's definitely different now than it was when I first learned it. I was like, oh man, yeah, I'm gonna learn tech. Now I'm no tech. I'm like, now I know why everything's in a certain. I understand it way more of, okay, I know this is good and bad at the same time. I can understand why my parents didn't want me on here at a certain time. I can understand why certain things now are more unregulated and you can catch anything on the phone. I definitely understand that.
Yeah, you just have to be able to, you can take advantage of it without letting it take advantage of you, you know?
No.
And that's if you can be smart enough to understand how it all works, then you can try to not be like a cog in the system.
But I also understand, I don't mean to poke anything, but you do have a car that is made by one of the guy that uses the most AI ever.
For sure.
And having a Tesla, so it's like.
And it's like my favorite car ever.
It's your favorite car ever?
Yeah, I bought the Cybertruck in 2019.
You ever get that?
Well, and I started.
I'm sorry to say it like that.
Yeah, I did it in the end of 2019, and
Yeah.
I just now started to get emails from them saying, hey, your order's in process, you know. So they're starting to like follow up. So I will get it this year. You know, I don't know exactly when, but that would be the only thing that I would get rid of my current car for, is I'll trade my Model Y in to get the Cybertruck.
Okay, that makes some more sense.
Yeah.
I really need to see that truck in person, just because it's like I just seen the shape. I don't know what the heck all the inside or anything.
Oh, it's bananas, man. But there's also a level of it for me that it's like I'll use that for content as well. You know what I mean? It's polarizing, like when you see it in person, and so you know, it's utilitarian. I've gotten used to driving a Tesla where I'm like, I will have other cars, but like as a daily driver, it's the best.
I get it.
It's faster than my partner's Ferrari. It's like, it's great.
Nice, man. I got one more question, and then we gotta do the alley-oop to wrap this all up. As for content, right? In terms of content, what's easier for you to do content of, real estate or Epic Roll?
Epic Roll.
And which one does more?
Yeah, Epic Roll for sure. Because I'm selling a product, like an actual, you know, like that can be very transactional. I can see when I post a new design of a shirt or a rash shirt or something, and then boom, there's a sale. You know what I mean? It's a little bit more intangible when you talk about real estate. The reason I even tried to put emphasis on growing that was more for like the street cred. It was more to just show that you have a presence. So like when you're marketing properties, that you're doing it to the you know, that you are a agent who is staying up to date with things and not opposed to utilizing technology. You know, we do like fun reels, you know, we shoot like videos that are, you know, like entertaining. So, but in general, it's very time consuming. And so it's easier for me to warrant spending a little bit more time on the content that I'm putting for Epic Roll than, you know, real estate.
And you just do that to keep up with the time, right? Because it's just like I understand, I have a lot of people who do real estate too. And it's like, it's unnecessary, because I think one or two or three, I'm not dogging anybody, but 1, 2, 3 people did great in content real estate, or did the whole see-through video. And now everyone wants that because it was COVID times. Everyone was like, oh, this is how you can show a house real quick. I like what you're doing for content. And it's a content-driven machine. So it's like one of those things where it does take a lot more time to set up. And I understand the cost value is a little bit different for each one. But Epic Roll is more of that pastime that you can easily flood market with Epic Roll. And
I also have so many other people that are also helping contribute to that. Like, you know, I can just open up Instagram and like scroll, and I'll find somebody posted, I can repost it, or somebody's, you know, we have Hiram Gracie shooting like technique videos for us. We have Bobby doing stuff about fitness pertains to jiu-jitsu. You know, we have these different elements. So it's nice because it can be diverse. I mean, a lot of people's, like the average person, not realtors that are like out there that have huge audiences, but like people that are just average trying to make content is usually garbage. It's horrible. It's stuff that nobody gives a shit about. They don't want to see it. They don't want. So you have to look at what people are doing to actually get attention. And a lot of it is very quick cuts, top 3 real estate tips about this, top 5 ways to sell your house, whatever.
Those are quick
music, cut shots, things like that. But that's a whole nother level of time and effort that goes into it. And a lot of the people I know that do it really well have teams that they're paying 2 to 3 G's a month to even do all this stuff for them, and they're not even messing with it.
Yeah.
So, I'm still doing a lot of this stuff myself, and I do it as a formality to kind of show that we have, a good amount of followers, and we're kind of doing that. But I put the majority of the emphasis on that. And then when we launch the fitness bottle, that'll be a whole nother one where that will, similar to Epic Roll, will be very easy to generate content from.
Yeah. No, man. I think everything you're doing content-wise, doing business-wise, it's been a crazy 1.5 or 2 years, like I said, of just seeing that grow, man. But before we get out of here, the last thing you gotta do, man, you gotta do the alley-oop. You did this once before. You gotta ask me one question only. I have to answer it. If I already answer it, you gotta ask me another question. All right. So
okay,
pick
one question.
One question. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Do you feel like right now and recently that you are living your most authentic, truest self? Are you a fake ass bitch? Are you, man, or are you just trying to be you?
Oh, man. Nah, I was just more authentic. So I was watching some videos about that. That's why I'm laughing so hard. I think I am. The reason why I say, actually not think, I know. Because the reason I'm doing the stuff I always wanted to do. I wanted to do stand up, got that done, not doing the best I can, but I know I want to do and grow in that. I know I'm doing the jiu-jitsu thing because I always wanted to do something that grew, and I wanted to do something that was more self-fulfilling and not be on my phone all damn long. And from doing that, I was able to get a lot, expand my community, expand my knowledge in different aspects of more things that I haven't known. So it's just like, I feel all that. And then with podcasting is one of those things where I've said this before, but I always love doing podcasting. I love where I bring people on that I know truly that I can have conversations with. I'm legit doing this with no notes because it's like, I know you from the back of my hand, 'cause I know you for years, but I do this with every guest because it's like, I love what I do. I love the research I can do with this and that. Everything's at the palm of my hands. It's just the same thing with the AI, but it's just like you can track and trace, and not saying on a stalker level, but you can kind of see, it's like, man, I know this man's doing good. I know this is going to be a cakewalk because it's like, man, this dude got so much shine. It's going to be easier to just give him a little bit more because it's not, all this is not for me. So I feel like for me itself and being my more authentic self is great. I'm doing what I want to do. You're not doing it on someone else's time clock. Everyone has a day job. I get that. Everyone has to make bread. You get that. You understand that. But to do that in the industry that you want to do it in, that's a plus. Me, you both can say that. My man behind the camera can say that. My man's over there in the chairs can say that. They're doing what they want to do in their time that they're spending. Like, you can do so much of just watching TV, playing video games that you want to, doing whatever you want to do, and that's fine. That's great. I have those days too. But not chasing your dreams or chasing what you want to be in this life. I really can't fuck with anybody that doesn't do that. I really can't.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to like their own self-belief, because most people will not go through the hard work or
they'll wait for the opportunity.
Yeah, and it'll never come because they're just either believe they're not deserving of it, or they don't believe that it's possible. And by doing that, why would you ever go through the struggle and heartache and obstacles that you'll go through to get to that if you don't even believe that it's possible? So like, it's a lot of people don't know what they want to do in life, and then a lot of people I know that make a lot of money that are miserable people. And so it's good to be on the path where you feel like you're in the flow state of where you should be, and doing the work that you were supposed to be doing. I think it does come with check-ins.
It comes with check-ins, comes peaks and valleys. I think everybody's going to have their struggle with what they want to do. Not every day is going to be perfect. Not every day is going to be a great day at Epic Roll. Not every day is going to be a great day in real estate. Not every day is going to be great. Besides podcasting, I've had great days on podcasting. Never a bad day podcasting. But having that understanding that there's peaks and valleys in your career and what you want to do. You're human. You absolutely are human. Like, as long as the end of the day, at the end of the day you feel happy with what you're doing, that's great. Right. If you're like, man, you can't do this without having, like, I need to de-stress in the most extreme way, then something needs to change. Because I used to be that person that has to be out partying all the time because I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. Like, understanding that, and I have had a conversation with this. A lot of people are frustrated when they're not doing what you want to do. You're not going to you're got a business degree, but you're not in business. You're got a diploma and a master's or whatever in science, but you can't get into any laboratories. You know, no one's going to be happy spending all that bread to get that one thing. And at the end of the day, when everyone's promising you, hey, you do this, you're going to get the education you want, get this kind of certificate, and you can't get the job, people are going to be frustrated, you know? But it's also understanding that you're not going to always get everything that you want. When you go for jobs, you're not going to just put all your eggs in the basket to get that one job, right? You're not going to put all your eggs in the basket to put everything on one person to help you support this brand. You're going to find out ways to understand where you can, it's manipulating time and manipulating your space to understand where you can flow in between that state. Like, this is not my normal, every day I'm on here podcasting. Can't do that. Can't afford that. Not saying that I can't. It's just saying my man's price got up. So it's like, I can't do that. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. So you give out the content that you can to the people. You give out to I can't do this weekly. I can't do this every single day. Cool. I'll do this weekly. Do this weekly every single time. The numbers still go up because people going to be anticipating what you're going to drop next. You're doing Epic Roll so much that your drop dates are your best sellout dates. You sell out in 3 or 4 hours because you have this big drop. Because of, I remember the hype around Bury Me in the Gi and everyone wanted that. And then you sold that out immediately. So much, I can't get one. So it's like, it's those things where you realize, like, at the end of the day, does it make you happy? It make you happy to spend that bread, make you happy to do this? Ain't no cost to it.
When you wanted to do podcasts all the time, like, the mantra, you know, could be like, I'm so grateful that I have the resources and that the opportunities came so that I can do this full time. You know what I mean? Because then you just, and that's that, you know, constant, like, self-talk, so that you working daily towards that destiny. You know what's
so funny about podcasting, right? My only goal in podcasting for this, I know we gotta get out of here. My only goal is to make enough from sponsors that I don't have to worry about costs. I don't care if I don't get paid for this. I don't care if I get tens of thousands of views, even though that would be lovely. I don't care about none of that, because at the end of the day, I just want to have a conversation with some of the greatest people that I find in the DMV about what I love the most, which is jiu-jitsu, MMA, and what makes them them. It doesn't matter to me at the end of the day if there's money coming in. Money comes in, that's great. But I'm 30 years old. I've been in places where I've seen a lot of money that ain't mine. I've been spent money. Money come, money go. That whole saying. Like, money doesn't move me like that. What moves me is having these vibes, having these conversations, finding that what makes people tick, finding out what makes them them is my only thing what drives me more. The only thing I ever want for this podcast is, like, all right, my sponsor's paying for my whole video set. Cool. I can do video set for 2-3 hours. Cool. If I get video set, they pay you, like, no, we want you 2 times a week. That's even better. You know, as long as my people are getting paid and my people are getting the shout outs and getting the love that they want, I could care less. That's always been me. Thanks, brother.
Of course, man.
All right, guys, that has been our time for episode 2 of season 3. Stay tuned for episode 3. That's going to be dropping. Give us another week for that. But peace, love, and bye.
Jordan open. I got 2 twin Glocks strapped to my hip. Waiting for the ops, waiting for the dip. Got the drip on me, and she take a sip. Doing shit you never see, like a dream crib. Got a shorty in the club, going dumb. Pour another drink from the night till the wine. Party all night, getting lit till the sun. Doing shit for fun, throw another one, ayy.